Today's story revolves around the best friends who have known each other since childhood. Their bond was so profound that they shared every little detail of their lives openly with one another. Yet, there was one secret that pulsed quietly in both their hearts. They were deeply in love, but they never mustered the courage to confess, fearing it would shatter their friendship. This very misunderstanding led them to make choices that only complicated their lives further. Though they pretended to be happy in each other's presence, the unspoken pain and longing in their eyes was unmistakable. Will they ever declare their love or not? We'll find out in this complete tale today. So, the story begins with Rosie sitting at a wedding, looking visibly saddened. This was the wedding of her best friend, Alex, and everyone present urged her to give a speech. She stood up and said, "This is one of the most beautiful days of my life because today, my best friend is getting married." With those words, the story flashes back to scenes from Rose and Alex's childhood. They were neighbors and spent most of their time together studying in school, having fun, and sharing their dreams. Their friendship was nothing short of a fairy tale. Alex would have strange dreams that he shared only with Rosie. As time passed, they grew up side by side. The scene then shifts to Rose's birthday party, where she had just turned 18. Everyone was dancing at the party, and Rose and Alex joined in the revelry with the others. But amid the excitement, they suddenly found themselves so close that, without thinking, they began a kiss. However, Rosie abruptly collapsed and fainted. The next morning, when she woke up at home, Alex was already there. Rose asked him, "How did we get home last night? We were both completely drunk, and I even fell." Alex replied, "My mom brought us back." Hearing this, Rose said, "I was so wasted last night that I don't know what all I did thinking about it makes me embarrassed. I wish we could erase those memories forever." These words made Alex think that perhaps Rose was ashamed of the kiss and wanted to remain just friends. After that, the two went for a walk by the seaside, where the school's most handsome boy, Greg, asked Rose to accompany him to the prom. But Rose declined because her plan was to go with Alex. However, Alex said, "If you don't mind, I'd like to go with Bethany." Bethany was actually in their class and had a crush on Alex. This brought a slight disappointment to Rose's face, as she wanted to go to the party with him. But she smiled and said, "No problem. Go ahead and don't worry about me. I'll talk to Greg again, and he'll agree." Little did they know, this decision would change their lives in unimaginable ways. Later that evening, we see Alex at Rose's house, where the two are playfully getting ready for the party amid jokes and laughter. The story then moves to the prom, where everyone was dancing joyfully. Alex and Bethany were together, while Rose and Greg danced as a pair. But Rose got a bit too close to Greg, and they slipped away to a room where they were about to become intimate. Rose had no idea what a huge mistake she was making. It was the first time for both, so they were extremely nervous, and in that nervousness, Greg made a foolish error. His protection slipped inside Rose. Seeing this, Rose panicked, fearing she might get pregnant. She immediately called Alex. With loud music blaring at the party, she went into the elevator and loudly explained the whole situation. Alex, without delay, rushed her to a doctor. Everything seemed normal there, giving Rose some relief. After the doctor's checkup, as they drove home, Alex said, "Maybe we should leave this place and go far away. My dad always wanted me to go to Harvard University and study hotel management." Rose agreed, as their dreams had been the same since childhood, and she'd dreamed of opening her own hotel. But when she told her parents, her mom flatly refused, not wanting her to go so far alone. However, Rose's dad trusted his daughter completely. He supported her and gave permission to apply to Harvard. A few days later, Rose received her invitation letter from Harvard. She rushed to Alex's house to share the good news first, but there she learned that Alex was busy in his room with Bethany, and their voices could be heard downstairs. Suddenly, she felt nauseous and vomited. Terrified, she quickly bought a test kit from a medical shop and, after testing, discovered she was pregnant. She had suspected it due to Greg's mistake, and now the positive result hit her like a shock. She messaged Alex, "I need to talk to you urgently. Please meet me now." But Alex replied, "I'm going to dinner with Bethany's parents. We'll talk later." This made Rose even more heartbroken, and she began to cry. The next day, Alex's scholarship letter arrived, and he excitedly came to Rose, saying, "Now we'll both go to Harvard together." Rose smiled faintly and said, "That's great that yours came too. But you go ahead. I have some important things to handle here. I'll join later." Alex agreed, believing she'd come soon. But something else was brewing in Rose's heart. The day finally came when Alex departed for Harvard. They shared an emotional goodbye. For Alex, It wasn't that significant because he thought Rose would arrive in a few days. But Rose was inwardly devastated, knowing everything was about to change. After bidding Alex farewell, a tearful Rose met with the shop owner Ruby, who had recently become her friend. Rose had already confided in her about the pregnancy. So, Ruby suggested, if you want, you could have an abortion and still go with Alex. Rose replied, "No, my parents are Catholic, and for them, becoming a mother is sacred. I can't do that." Ruby then said, "You could give the baby to some needy parents after a few months and then pursue your studies." Rose pondered this, thinking it might be the right path for her. Thereafter, Rose spent the coming months with full love and care, and the special day arrived when a tiny angel was born in her home. Seeing the baby's innocent, sweet smile melted Rose's heart, and she decided she wouldn't hand her over to anyone else. Ultimately, she chose to raise her as her own daughter and named her Katie. Now, Rose's sole purpose in life was to be the best mother to Katie. But it wasn't easy. Being a single mother and raising a child was no less than a challenge. On top of that, Greg, Katie's father, had vanished upon hearing the news. Rose had to face every hardship alone for her daughter. A few months later, while out for a walk with her baby, Rose spotted Bethany. She tried to hide, but Bethany had already seen her and, upon noticing Katie, realized it was Rose's child. Though Bethany and Alex's relationship had ended, she passed the news to Alex. A few days later, Alex suddenly showed up at Rose's house to meet her. Rose panicked and tried to hide Katie's things quickly, but Alex already knew. He asked, "Rose, why didn't you tell me all this earlier?" Rose replied, "If I had, you'd have stayed back from me, abandoning your dreams and never going to Harvard. I didn't want your dream to break because of me." Alex took a deep breath and asked, "Where's the father?" Rose said, "As soon as Greg found out about the baby, he ran away." Then Alex said, "Can I be Katie's godfather?" This brought immense joy to Rose. That day, Rose and Alex went to the seaside and talked endlessly. Emotionally, Rose said, "I never wanted you to know because you're the only person who's always seen me for who I truly am. Our dreams were the same, but now I've changed, and you know it too." This made them both deeply emotional. A few days later, Alex returned to Boston. While sitting in a bar there, he met the university's most beautiful girl, Sally. She took the initiative and proposed to him, and soon they started dating. Despite this, Alex stayed in touch with Rose and Katie. He kept sending adorable gifts for Katie, and Rose shared every little detail about her daughter with him. During this time, Rose also landed a job at a hotel, gradually stabilizing her life. Time flew by, and before they knew it, 5 years had passed. Katie had grown quite a bit. On the other side, Alex and Sally were now fully living together, but their relationship was weakening. Small arguments had become frequent, and it seemed they weren't happy with each other anymore. Meanwhile, Rose stayed by her daughter's side, constantly to ensure she never felt the absence of a father. One day, Rose received a message from Alex. "Rose, I miss you so much. Can you come to Boston?" This thrilled Rose, as it had been ages since she'd seen Alex. Without wasting time, she took Katie and caught the next flight to Boston. At the airport, as soon as they met, their old joy returned. Just like before, they indulged in endless fun partying all night, dancing and savoring each other's company. In those moments, they relived their old memories. The next day, while strolling casually, they ended up at the same university where studying had once been Rose's dream. But now, she had no regrets about giving up her education to give birth to Katie. She told Alex, "Katie is truly such a sweet child, and the best part is she never reminds me of Greg. Instead, she talks about you all the time." As they conversed, their closeness grew, and Rose was about to kiss Alex, but he said, "We should probably head back. It's getting late." That evening, Alex brought Rose home for dinner. Everyone was at the table, including Sally's brother, Phil. Things were going smoothly until Rose learned that Sally was pregnant. This shocked her, as Alex had hidden such big news. But then, an argument erupted between Alex and Sally over something, and in anger, Sally spilled the entire dinner. To salvage the mood, she said, "No worries. Anyway, we have tickets for an exhibition, let's go there in a bit." In the next scene, they all arrived at the exhibition, but the place was boring for both Alex and Rose. Alex couldn't leave Sally alone, so Rose quietly slipped out. Seeing her, Alex followed. Rose turned to him in anger and said, "You didn't even tell me Sally is pregnant. I think there are a lot of problems between you two." In her fury, she added, "You're just showing off being with high society people here. In reality, you're in pain and refusing to admit it." Hearing her strange words, Alex got angry too and retorted, "Have you ever looked at your own life? You're probably jealous seeing my big house, beautiful wife, and lifestyle here. I'm happier than you. And yes, I'm about to have a child who will have both a mother and father, not just one. This broke Rose's heart, and she stormed off, saying, when everything falls apart, don't come crying back to me. After that, Rose returned and moved into a new house where it was just her and Katie. One day, while sitting at home, she found a drawing by Katie depicting a complete family. Rose realized that despite her efforts to give Katie every happiness, the lack of a father could never truly be filled. She stared at the picture for a long time and then sent it to Greg. The next day, while working at the hotel, Greg suddenly appeared. Rose wanted to ignore him, but he began apologizing. Rose, forget what happened and forgive me. I was scared, and you might not believe it, but in these 5 years, I've missed you every day. Just give me one last chance to be a good dad. After hearing this, Rose said, fine, but on one condition. You have to be the best dad for Katie. Greg agreed and genuinely tried to be a good father. He started taking full care of Rose and Katie, spending quality time with them. In this way, he gradually grew very close to Rose, and their bond became strong. Their connection deepens over time, leading Rosie and Greg to exchange vows in a serene church ceremony. This heartfelt choice finally unites their little family in wholeness, filling their days with profound joy and contentment. But on the other side, troubles mounted in Alex's life. He and Sally had separated because Sally was having an affair with someone else. Rose learned this when she called Sally to talk. It saddened her to know Alex and Sally were apart, and Alex hadn't even told her. Afterward, they talked via messages where Rose apologized for her anger that day. Alex was distressed and explained to Rose that he hadn't mentioned the pregnancy because the child wasn't his, it was Sally's other boyfriend's. Hearing Alex's troubles made Rose feel awful, but what could she do? The story then jumps 5 years ahead. Katie had grown considerably and had made a very close friend named Toby. Seeing them reminded Rose of her own childhood. One day, Rose's parents and some relatives went on a vacation that her dad had always dreamed of. Later, at the hotel, Rose met Bethany, who was staying there. In fact, Bethany had become quite wealthy and often traveled to different countries. When Rose told her about Alex, Bethany said, I'm heading to Boston, so I'll meet him there, just give me his address. A few days later, Rose received a call from her mother informing her that her dad had passed away. At the funeral, the entire family was present, and Rose wept profusely for her father. Alex arrived before Rose, which touched her deeply. He came to her side to console her. Just then, Greg arrived to pick up Rose, but he wasn't saddened at all. In fact, he'd been drinking and spoke rudely to Alex. This made Alex wonder what kind of man Rose was living with. After leaving, Alex wrote a letter to Rose pouring out all his heartfelt feelings. But the letter first fell into Greg's hands, who read it and hid it. Instead, he gave Rose a letter from her dad that had come with it. When Rose read her father's final letter, it mentioned the joy of fulfilling his dreams. He urged her to pursue her own dreams and reminded her that he would always be with her. Reading this, Rose felt inspired to fulfill her dreams, opening her own hotel. The next day, Alex messaged Rose, "Are you truly happy with Greg?" He assumed she'd received his letter, but Rose replied, "Things aren't like before, but yes, I'm happy." Then one day, Rose discovered Greg had booked a secret room in another hotel where she worked. At first, she thought it might be a surprise for their upcoming wedding anniversary. But when Greg called and said, "I have to go out for work. Take Katie to your mom's," Rose grew suspicious. She investigated properly and found out Greg was cheating on her. He booked the room to spend time with another woman. Enraged, Rose confronted Greg directly and punched him hard in front of everyone. Back home, she threw out all his belongings and decided she would never live with him again. That's when, in a drawer, she found Alex's hidden letter. It read, "Rose, you deserve a life partner who truly loves you and understands you completely. I know Katie needs a father. I don't want to interfere in your life, but Greg isn't right for you. I've realized that I am the one for you. So, we should give ourselves another chance. If you feel the same, please call me." Though the letter was months old, Rose called immediately, but Bethany answered, revealing that she and Alex were together because Rose had suggested Bethany meet him. Not only that, they were about to get married soon. This devastated Rose. When Ruby learned all this, she consoled Rose. "Look, Rose, fate is giving you signs repeatedly. Alex still wants you, and this letter is the biggest proof. If you don't meet him now, you might lose this chance forever. Go once more and test your luck one last time." Rose found Ruby's words convincing. She set off for Boston right away with her daughter Katie, Katie's best friend Toby, and Ruby. But after traveling such a long distance, When they arrived, Alex and Bethany's wedding had already taken place. The couple looked immensely happy, which left Rose heartbroken, but she somehow controlled her emotions. Now, the story returns to the present, where Rose was giving a speech at her best friend's wedding. She spoke at length about Alex and their friendship, but in the process, her true feelings slipped through. In the end, she smiled and said, "I love Alex so much and will always love him as a friend." She said as a friend to avoid hurting Alex, but he had understood everything. The dancing began at the wedding, and everyone joined in. During this, Toby suddenly kissed Katie, angering her so much that she stormed out of the hall. Rose and Alex followed her quickly and asked what happened. Katie said, "Toby kissed me, but we're just friends like you two. So, would you two ever kiss? I'll tell Toby to forget it all because it's wrong." But then Alex began explaining to Katie, "Look, Katie, if you tell Toby today that this kiss means nothing to you, he might grow up making it his life's mission to marry the world's most beautiful girl just to show you how happy he is. But in reality, he'll never be happy without you." Alex was saying this to Katie, but the words were truly for Rose. A deep understanding dawned in Rose's eyes, and along with it, we realized why Alex had spent time with other girls before. 12 years ago, a small kiss had created a massive misunderstanding between them, steering their lives in different directions. Now, after all these years, they have finally understood each other's hearts, but what could they do now? After that, Rose bid Alex a final goodbye, deeply saddened, and returned with her family. Back in the city, within a few weeks, she opened her own hotel just as she had dreamed. After all the preparations, today was the hotel's opening day, with everyone present and filled with joy. In the midst of it, Ruby rushed to Rose and said, "Our first customer has arrived, let's welcome them." Rose went happily and greeted her first guest, assigning them a room. The hotel's start was promising, and soon the second customer arrived, but it was none other than Alex. Rose was utterly shocked seeing him. With a gentle smile, Alex said, "Madam, may I have a room? I have no luggage, and no one with me. I've left everything behind just to live here." Rose's heart pounded wildly. She led Alex to the room, where he told her, "On the way here, I had a dream on the plane where we were together, exactly as we should have been long ago." After enduring such a long separation, today, after 12 years, the two met with immense happiness. They now understood that they were made for each other. After that, they kissed each other passionately, and then drew even closer. And with this beautiful moment, the sweet story comes to an end. In the tapestry of life, unspoken love weaves threads of regret, teaching us that a single moment of courage can rewrite destinies, shadowed by fear and misunderstanding. Yet, fate whispers that true bonds endure the storms of time, urging us to embrace vulnerability before the heart's quiet yearnings turn to echoes of what could have been. For in the end, love's greatest lesson blooms in the realization that we are made for those who see us wholly, reminding us to chase our truths with open arms and fearless hearts. If you love this emotional roller coaster of a story, hit that like button to show your support. It means the world. Don't forget to subscribe for more heart-touching movie recaps, breakdowns, and hidden gems delivered straight to your feed. Share this with your best friend who needs a reminder that true love waits. Let's spread the feels together.